Hello everyone, I am JoeHova. Welcome to Railway Empire. So this is going to be a first look. Just going to make a quick introduction to the game for any of those that are interested in buying it. I've played it for a few hours now. I don't have a lot of time in it, but there were a couple questions that I had that I think are worth answering. So first of all, this game does have a lot of depth. So my first impressions are fun, good play, very much like Seth Meyer Railroad. Sorry. Um, but there's this DLC thing that kind of bugs me. So this is a $50 game on Steam right now, which is, higher echelon of pricing on games. And if you come into the scenarios, or I'm sorry, you have a free mode, a sandbox, and a challenge. So if you go to the free mode, you can see that you have all of these different areas that you can play in. But if you go here, you can play the whole America. But then you get into the DLCs, so these are all locked. Now, I have not been to the shop, so I don't know how much they cost. They could be priced well, but I do want everybody to understand that there are a lot of DLCs. Look, all of these maps are locked. Now, I don't know if you buy one DLC, it opens all these maps, but in my personal opinion, you buy a $50 game, you should get the maps. Now, this is interesting. So that's all the negative I have. Everything else is going to be positive because I truly do enjoy the game. This is a free mode where you can create just a random map. Like all the cities are jumbled around and the map is weird and you can kind of control it. We can get into that in a second. And then you have these scenarios. So when you get into a scenario, for example, let's say if I wanted to do the southeast and I click this, I have a choice. I can go 1830 to 1930, so I got a 100-year span here. Or I can do 1830 to 1850, 50 to 70, 70 to 90, 90 to 10. You see how this goes. It's about a 20 to 30 year gap. And each one of these have different challenges. I mean, first of all, as you go through the timeline, different technologies are available, different trains, things like that. So that's one scenario that you would play. And I'll go back to all these. The America is very much the same way, except it plays on the entire map, which is actually pretty cool. You have fewer cities, but they're scattered out everywhere, right? So that's pretty neat. But let's go back. We also have a sandbox mode, which is nice. You can do all the same things, except there's no money involved, right? You can play to your heart's content, build anything you want, don't have to worry about money, because a lot of people like to play that way. I'm not one of them. So we've seen free mode, we've seen sandbox, there's also a challenge mode. Now this is Dallas, we have the Upper West. Dallas is new, and then you have this Upper West. These are interesting challenges. We'll get into the gameplay here in a second, but I want you to understand all the things that are available. You can see there's a ranking here and all this kind of stuff. We also have a campaign that's available and scenarios. We already did scenarios, so we go, no, we didn't. So scenarios are, you have these different individual scenarios. Again, those are locked. All those are locked. Only this one is available. But there are multiples in this one. You can see there are 3 levels to this one, 2 levels to this one. These are challenging because, from my experience, the little I've played them, it gives the computer an advantage very, very quickly. And so you're kind of, when you're looking for a challenge, this is kind of where you go. And then you have your campaign. I've already done one of these campaigns. I did chapter 1, then it moves to chapter 2, and this teaches you the game as you play it. It's like the campaign is basically a rolling tutorial, which is nice. I mean, it plays well. So you have all of those things, and then you have this editor. Now, I have not done this yet. It requires a third-party program to actually do the map, so I have not had a chance to dive into this, but I'm happy that it's there. Because this gives you the opportunity to do all kinds of different things. You can create scenarios yourself, put them online in the workshop, let other people play your scenarios. So I'm a big fan of anything that does that. So you have all of these things, right? So let's get into a game real quick, just so we can see how it plays. And we're just going to go to free mode here, and we're going to go to free mode America. And I'm going to do the 100-year 1830 to 1930, so starting with very slow trains. And you can see that you have all of these cities available. Now you have your initial capitals, so you can say how much you want, 1, 2, or 3 million. You can choose your city, by clicking through here or just clicking on it. You can see the larger cities that are already there. You can choose your number of competitors, excuse me, from 1 to 3. You can turn the AI level up from normal to very hard. Normal is pretty easy once you understand the game. You have a realistic rail network, meaning that trains will wait for each other, so you have to put in ways for trains to pass, or you can just do one where they just pass right through without causing any traffic. That's, for babies with training wheels. And then the AI only uses regular track network, but has to pay more under certain circumstances. So it may become easier to create tracks for them. And then you have realistic, so that's what I always play on. And then the pause mode, whenever you open something up, it will pause the game, and so gives you more chance. So you have a choice to do that, or you can just make it manual pause only, or the game never pauses. So, and then these don't work as of yet. I haven't seen any time when I could change these. Under the advanced settings, you basically can change everything in the game. What things cost, etc. You can make things easier or harder, things like that. So you have a lot of choices here. So I'm just going to pick Nashville, Tennessee. That's where I live. So we'll pop that in here and we'll hit continue.
Together, we shall conquer them all.
And then you see you have different characters that you can select. So this is the general. He has positives and negatives, right? He's strict. So your tracks cost less to build.
Hey, why should we play fair if we want to win?
You see you have the gangster. So there's
Let's
multiples.
go. Time is money.
And you
The
can
business
choose.
plan. I know I had it here somewhere.
So I'm not going to go through all these. You can
The
choose.
rest.
Don't ask.
Are you a man or a mouse? This is no time to hesitate.
Hey, it's not a good idea to keep me waiting.
One thing I like about the gangster so far is that you do have 5 auctioneers at the start. They give you a bonus whenever you buy things. Essentially, anytime you want to buy something in the game, you're going to go up for auction. And so this will make those costs less to start with.
You should choose me. You wouldn't want anything to happen to you, would you?
Yeah, I'm choosing you. So then we'll go into the game and we'll take a look at it. Again, if you've played Sid Meier Railroad in the past, it's very, very similar to that, which I like because I really enjoyed that game. There are definitely some improvements to that style.
Good luck with your new company. Your task list has been created, and you have one competitor in this scenario.
So you can see my competitor is over here, and they've already got a rail line going, so they've got an advantage on me already. So this is my hometown. You have to build a rail here, so to do that, you just come up to your construction, and you build this right here. So this just being a first look, I don't want to get too far into the game. I'll play through a couple scenarios. You basically have your wads that you can come around, but I do want you to see the map. The zoom is crazy in this game because you can zoom way out like this, and you can get really tight, which is pretty sweet, and then you can rotate the mouse around, so you can get some really good angles. I will do one thing because I think it's worth mentioning. Let's say if we had I'm just going to do this very quickly. We'll do a small train station here. We'll put one in Memphis as well. We will run some track. Now, there are reasons why you don't want to let the computer just run the whole track right here, right? So you could come in here and you could set this anywhere you wanted to. You can make it look any style that you like. But you can see every time I do this, the price goes up. I click on there, then I have to buy that track. So my track is good. Then I'm going to get a train, set up a rail between Nashville and Memphis, and then add the locomotive. Right there it is. Now you can see that you can add engineers, stokers, and you can actually do rail cars, but these things have to be unlocked a little bit later. So right now, I can choose to center on the train right here, or I can ride it. Isn't that cool? So I can move the camera around. See, I'm leaving Nash Vegas, going to Memphis at 11 miles an hour. Hit the whistle. I can toggle my camera view. Go to the front of the train. Look back in reverse. So it does look neat. I mean, as far as I'm not complaining that a $50 game is expensive, because they are, for me anyway, but the idea that then you have to get DLCs, that's kind of a bummer. One other thing here, the tasks. These are all things that you can do in the game, so it's not only about making profit and taking out your opponents, but also trying to complete all of these individual tasks. And over a 100-year game, I mean, this is a very long play, right? We have a company tab where you can see your company. You can also come in, see your reporting right here, and you've got your competitors. So Jonathan Johnson is my competitor. I can come in here and buy company shares of his company. I can buy his stock. And once I get up to 100%, I can actually go in there and buy him out, merger the company, and liquidate all his assets if that's what I choose to do. And you also have the stock market. Now, I haven't really figured out this whole thing yet. This is kind of new to me, but you can see that the stock prices go up and down. I'm assuming that's based on how they're being used in the game, but I don't have a real good feel for it. But again, it just adds depth, and depth is good. You have a research tab, so you earn these research points per month. You can also buy those sometimes through different people. You can upgrade your train as trains come available through research. And then you have this tips and tricks. And this is pretty sweet because it'll actually go through and it'll talk you through the game, give you a lot of hints here. And again, I haven't taken a lot of time to do a lot of this yet, but we're working on it. So that's pretty much your first look.
When I have nothing better to do, I enjoy watching you.
Yeah, that's him talking. They will talk to you. So these are my auctioneers that I already have hired, right? Okay, so that's pretty good for a first look. I don't want this video to get too long. There's a lot of stuff in the game. I think it's important to just kind of get an overall view. So I hope you like that, and I'm going to do a playthrough. So keep an eye open for that. We'll get a playthrough going, and you'll see exactly how the mechanics of the game work. So hope you liked it. If you did, hit the like button, maybe subscribe. Until next time, my name's JoeHova, and I'll catch you later. Goodbye.